Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Um, welcome. So today we are going to be continuing to work drop. Speaking of dropping, let me reset my drop counter real fast, and then, yeah. Exclamation point, reset, drop. There we go. Since I'm already dropping things. Goodness gracious. All right. So today we are I know, right? Hey Mahalo, welcome to the stream. So today we are going to continue working on our lizard bottle opener. So far we have a nice body for this lizard, and so we've got 4 legs, a head, and a tail. So what right now we're gonna start by drawing out the tail and each of the legs. We're going to start working on the head and see if we can't make this into a lizard-like structure. And I want to turn the tail into a bottle opener if I can get it to draw out long enough. So if something happens and this guy breaks, or if we finish him before the end of the stream, I've got more blanks and we can start trying to make more animals. I haven't actually decided what animal I want to do yet, though. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm taking, all takers. What sort of animal would you guys like to see me try and make? So let's see. I'm going to start the forge and start heating this up, and then we can start going over a couple things that's happening this week. Alrighty. So we're going to continue using the mailbox for the moment, try and be a little bit efficient and get a lot of heat. Since we're doing a lot of small stuff, it's not going to take long for things to cool down, so we want to heat them up real fast. Alrighty. There we go. And now we turn this up. Okay. See if we can't get the lizard in there. So I've got a couple different sets of tongs, and I'll kind of go over this new set of tongs that I don't think I've ever used on stream before. So I'm kind of interested to see how well those will work for us for this piece. So these are a set of tongs that I made so that I could start making some RPG dice. It's RPG dice. They're like teeny little pieces of steel, and I kind of wanted to forge them. And so I tried to make a set of tongs that would just hold them on the corners. They didn't work out quite well. You can see there's a weird gap there, but and so they weren't going to hold them amazingly securely. And I ended up not doing the RPG dice anyway. So I was looking for a better set of tongs to kind of hold this lizard with, and these seem to work pretty well. So we're going to see if I can manage to make it happen. All right. I can hear again. All right. So I've got several tools laying around here because I think we're going to be changing tools quite a lot. We might even be working with the post vise to get some details in there, especially for like facial features, eyes, things like that. So we shall see where the day takes us. It should be fun. So yeah, it looks like an ad is going to be starting in about a minute. So I've got a few things to talk about, and I think I will wait until after the ad. So the idea is that the tail will be an opener, not the mouth. Correct. I just don't think that I have enough material to open the mouth wide enough to get the leverage that you would need to open a bottle with the mouth, unfortunately. I'm not I'm not ruling out mouth opening for future bottle openers within this week's festivities of animal sculptures. But in this case, we're going to use the tail as the bottle opener for this one. Ah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, so I have another design that I've been musing about for the last couple of, I don't know, I guess yesterday and a little bit after stream on Monday. So I kind of want to do a cat. And I think I might be able to do something in between like the mouth and like the hands, or maybe, So I've been kind of musing on what types of animals I want to do for these bottle openers and how I want to shape them so that they will open bottles. I kind of feel like making the whole body of an animal, though, is going to make it more challenging with the size of stock that I'm using to open the bottles with their mouths. So I think that the best bet would probably be just to do an animal head so that I can open the bottle with its mouth. But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So it's in the 60s today, so it's a little bit nippy for my arms, and so I wore the sweatshirt, but I am definitely going to be taking off the sweatshirt probably pretty quickly as it starts getting warmer in this shop. So I have everything like attached to my shirt on the inside, and I don't know, it's feeling a little bit icky. I don't like shirts that have collars close to my neck. I don't know. Hopefully it gets a little bit more comfortable when I take the sweatshirt off. All right, so the ad break is going to end in a couple seconds. Exciting. We can get started. How is our steel doing? It's starting to get warm. I want to make sure that we get a little bit more heat penetrating the tail before we start working. So yeah. Get a little bit of water in me, and then something super duper exciting happened today. And I really don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. So today I went to look at today's video on YouTube and to make sure that it was there and that it had uploaded and had passed its copyright, like the copyright on, because they always do like, I don't know, they do copyright checks. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so I went to look at the new video, and so I looked at my analytics on our YouTube channel, and today we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm super excited. Thank you all so much for all of your support and all of the subscriptions and watching my videos. So we are halfway to monetization on our YouTube channel. So there are 2 criteria for YouTube in order to monetize. The first one is that you need to either get 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers. So we have reached the second tier of monetization as far as subscribers. Now, the second milestone is the one that we really need to work on. And, I'm not going to blame individually or, ask, beg, whatever individually. I need to have 3,000 and then 4,000 watch hours. So that is not viewers watching my videos. That is hours watched of my videos. So I am at about 1,600 hours viewed in the last year. And that is their metric. So I need either 3,000 for first tier or 4,000 for second tier for monetization on YouTube. And yeah, so We have 16,000 hours viewed in the last year, so we need a little bit more, you know, and we'll get there. We will definitely get there. Hey, Blue Red Metal, welcome to the stream. So yes, I'm super excited, super excited about hitting 1,000 subscribers. So thank you all so much for all of your support. I would not be here without you guys. Thank you. A 5-stream watch streak. That is amazing. Thank you so much for your support and the consistency in viewership. So I'm super excited. We're into this year strong already, and you know, it's only March, so fingers crossed by the end of the year, maybe we'll, you know, start getting in towards that 3,000 hour mark. That would be amazing. And I think it's reasonable. So thank you all so much for your support. All right, let's see. We've got plenty of heat now, so we're going to start working on our lizard. Okay. First heat of the day. I'm going to do my very best to make it easy for you guys to see what's going on. But it might take a couple heats for me to kind of figure things out, because we're going to be doing a lot of on the edge of the anvil things. So apologies if I don't quite make it happen the first couple of times. All right, so I think we're going to try over here. Maybe not. Maybe I'll try this way. We're having a little bit of issue here. Okay, you know what? Maybe if I do this, I move this arm a little bit more out of the way. I guess it's more of a leg. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We definitely will figure this out. Like I said, it's going to take me a couple attempts to kind of figure this out a bit. So apologies. All right, we're going to heat this back up again. And I don't know, maybe I'll stick it in the post vise. This is my first animal, and I am struggling just to hair with it. So apologies. I don't know why I'm apologizing. It is what it is. You are welcome, and thank you for providing some very interesting content on Twitch. Well, you're welcome. I try. I do my best. Okay, like I said, it's going to be a little bit less efficient. The first couple heats, just because I'm trying to figure out the best place to put things on the anvil, how to move things out of the way, etc. So I don't know, maybe I will do a little bit over on the post vise, see if I can't move that leg out of the way. So let's move the camera so you guys can see. As I bump myself in the headphone. All right, okay, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. The post vise. I'm a little bit discombobulated today overall. I won't lie. This morning, I woke up about a half an hour early. I was rudely interrupted from, you know, my dream this morning by my kitty. He decided that I needed to get out of bed immediately and let him outside. And he is not an outdoor cat. We normally only let him outside when we're out there with him. And it was a little on the cold side this morning. It was a little dark. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to get up right now. I do not want to let you outside. And so I just kind of shoved him off a little bit, you know, not like violently or, you know, I didn't really shove him off the bed or anything. I just kind of like, hey, stop. And he decided to retaliate, and he decided I needed bit. So I don't know if you guys can see all of these little scratch lines and whatnot on all my arms. He also bit me in the forehead, but you can't see that one because my safety glasses are covering it. So I have some lovely cat bite marks. I'm just lucky he doesn't have claws. I love him. He's adorable, and I would never allow anything harm to happen to him, but he does not have those qualms. As long as he's the one that's biting me, it's all fair play. Goodness gracious. And I'm sitting here screaming at the cat, being like, stop biting, and the butler didn't even hear. They were across the house and couldn't hear. All right, let's do another heat. We're going to put it on the post vise and see if we can't make some stuff happen. Needless to say, I'm a little bit on the tired side of things. Alrighty. So I brought this over here because I kind of feel like maybe if I do this, I can get some good movement. And it seems to be working. Moving that out of the way real nice. And I think we're going to need to flip it around for our next heat. Okay. Oops, I totally put those in there backwards the way I wanted to, but that's all right. All right. So we've kind of moved and shaped that tail a little bit. We got a nice ridge, and we're starting to taper that tail. That's exactly what I want to see. Trying to get things in there. It's all flipping around and stuff. There we go. It's in there now. It's hammer time. It is hammer time. Put another hammer over there. All right. I also have a couple of, chisels and things like that. We'll put some nice texture on them a little bit and figure out what we're going to do. This is what I'm looking for. My water. I gotta find a good place to set my water because I can't set it over here on the post vise stand because we're using the post vise. But I also want it on, or to be able to use the anvil, and I don't know, moving up to the cart is a little bit, I don't know. I think the cart's probably the best place for it. Maybe if I move the anvil a little bit, a little bit further over this way, it'll be less tight between the anvil and the post vise. Hopefully that works. It's going to be another dropsy day, I think. I'm dropping things all over the place, but that's all right because I am planning on doing a compilation drop video as one of the shorts for next week, since next Tuesday, is it? I think it's Tuesday, is April 1st. So, I may not be, pranking you guys, but I can definitely give you guys, a bloopers reel. Get the engraver out and cut some realistic scales. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a really good engraver, at least not for ferrous metal. I have one for non-ferrous metal, but it's kind of It's not a very good one. I was never amazingly good with engravings. And the date is, oh, a week from today is April Fool's. So next Wednesday is April Fool's Day. I don't know. I was planning on putting out the scissor video next week. Today I actually did a deep dive on the leaf. So, because last week I did the ladle video, and I kind of skipped over the leaf a little bit. So I did a second video on just making leaves, and that's what we put up today. So yeah, I guess I'll put up the video of the scissors, which I'm really proud of, and then I will also put on the drop compilation as my April Fool's video maybe. It is crazy that it's April next week already. I cannot believe that it is that far into the year already. I feel like it was just New Year's. So, I got to gear up though, because at the end of April, we are going to be attending the BAM conference. And that's taking place in the Ozarks, which is really exciting. So we're going to be going 2 days to watch some demonstrators, look at some tailgate sales, and, fellowship with blacksmiths in person. Yeah, the days seem to be flying by. I agree. But I also am like, the individual days seem to drag, but, the months seem to be flying by, I feel like. I don't know why that is, Let's do another heat. I think I had it over there the last time, and I think that was a fine place to put it. Are you being the dumbs, little Forge? I think you are. Grab an arm. Alrighty. So we're going to take this and see if we can't stick that in there like so. All right. This is actually a technique that I kind of dreamt about the other night. So it actually seems to be working fairly well, which honestly surprises me, because a lot of times I'll dream about a technique and it's physically impossible. All right, we are going to have to move this leg here out a little bit so I can draw that out, start working on that tail a little bit further. But let me undo this so that I can show you what happened, right? So we've started narrowing out the base of the tail, and that's going to give us a lovely area that we can start drawing out to lengthen that tail. Tailgate is an interesting word for non-native speakers. I imagine a gate is a very large door, like a barn door, and then in the rear of the car is an interesting picture. So tailgating actually started at sporting events, right? So what would happen is people would drive pickup trucks to like football games, and I mean American football games. Unfortunately, we're not big soccer people here in the United States. But yeah, they would drive their pickup trucks, and they would bring barbecue grills, and they would or let down their tailgate on their pickup trucks and then serve a picnic and alcohol out of the back of their trucks. And that is why they call them tailgates, because all throughout the parking lot of football games, people would be having these like parties and stuff. And so, and you know, sometimes people started selling stuff out of them, you know, like souvenirs, alcohol, whatever. That term got adopted for a lot of different other things. So that's kind of the etymology of tailgate. It's kind of a little bit on the strange side to me too, you know? Easter is on April 5th. It seems so early. That is really early for Easter. Isn't it usually in like the second or third week of April? I mean, yeah. But then I always get really confused about Easter and what is it? Thanksgiving, because those are the big holidays that we celebrate all the time, but they move around because, you know, they're like the certain days or so many days after a certain lunar cycle or something. In my last job, I came across a control module for a door that was called TCM, Tailgate Control Module, it sounded so weird. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. There are actually like buttons that you can kind of, a lot of them are for like vans though, like minivans. So you press the button and your minivan will open up, and they call that a tailgate too. Because, you know, one tailgate is the same as another, right? So I feel like it's more like a hatchback, maybe. I don't know. Is that a better word for, at least for the van side of things? I don't know. All right, we're going to do one more heat here at the post vise, and then we're going to see what we can do at the anvil for a bit. These are kind of going to be a little bit on the quick side, these heats. Trying to work a little bit. Okay. I think I want to do it this way. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Well, that didn't work well. Nah, did it. Dropping things again. I don't know. That's not working well. But it's all right. We're going to try and do a little bit on the anvil and see what we can do there. Afternoon, Cool Funk Up. Welcome to the stream. Hello. I remember the first time I heard the phrase car boot sale. Then I found that boot is what a car trunk is called in the UK, and the sale is for crafts or secondhand items from the car boot or trunk. Yeah, people do that too. And then the holiday Halloween. I don't know if I think Halloween is kind of it's a little bit Americanized these days. Anyway, we have this thing called trick-or-treating where kids go door to door in costume and, you know, get candy and stuff. But a lot of neighborhoods don't like doing that anymore because it creates a hazard with cars going down the street because kids, you know, they're running everywhere and it's dark out and stuff. So they started doing what they call trunk or treat. And so the adults, they park their cars in large parking lots, open their trunks, and give out candy from their trunks. And that kind of reminds me of, you know, selling things out of your, or a boot sale, or, you know, selling things out of your trunk. That, and there are people who sell, they make tamales and they sell them out of their trunks. Tamales are so good. They are like a cornmeal dish wrapped in a corn husk, and they are spiced very nicely. They tend to be like a once a year thing sometimes, and some people do them all the time. So that's kind of what I think about when I'm talking about, you know, when I'm hearing about selling things out of their trunk. Glen Echo Glasses raiding with a party of 8. Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome to the stream. Hey guys, I'm Ray. I'm a blacksmith, so, you know, you're coming from glass, and we're here with our baby forges. I mean, this one kind of sort of reminds me a little bit of a glory hole, but it's not quite. But yeah, welcome to the stream. We are currently working on making animal sculptures in metal. This is my very first attempt at this, so we're trying to make a lizard, which should be relatively simplistic, but I don't know. It's acting up a little bit on me. Yeah, there is a town near called Zwali. A lot of people make and sell tamales. Yes. I can't see all my comments because my ad break's coming up in about 3 minutes and it's like blocking all your comments. There's even a company called Zwali Tamale. Ooh, I like the rhyming there. So yeah, we just kind of worked a little bit here on the post vise. We are kind of working on the back legs and the tail of our lizard. We've kind of got the tail that I want to make it long and thin. So we started moving the tail inward towards the rear end of the lizard. And now I want to move the legs out of the way so we can start drawing out the tail. Having a little bit of issue, so I'm kind of trying to figure out, problem solve, and work this out. So it could take us a little bit of extra time, but that's all right. Alrighty, let's do our first heat with our new friends. It's definitely not our first heat for the day. We've probably done about 4 of them so far, but it's our first heat of today, or I mean, with our new friends. Goodness. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know where I'm at. Clearly. All right. All right, so that's not working well either. So you know what? Maybe if we move the tail out of the way a little bit, we can kind of then use that to kind of move the leg out of the way a little bit, maybe. Fingers crossed on that. I don't know. There, it seems to be moving a little. There we go. Now we kind of got like a little tripod thing going on there. So I'm going to heat this back up again, and we're going to move some more material in a little bit. This might make it a little challenging to get inside of this forge, though. There we go. It's in there. Gotta keep checking on my gas. Did I do the thing? I did. Okay, cool. Are we unstable? Are we dropping frames again? I think we're all right. Not too bad. Yet, anyway. I'm gonna knock on wood, because you know what? I've had some internet issues lately. So I'm gonna put that there for the moment. I like to keep really hydrated here in the shop. All right. So I need to kind of draw out the back legs a little bit, kind of give myself a little bit of space to work and shape them. And it looks like we are in the middle of an ad break. So I guess I get to wait until the end of the ad break before I do some more work. But that's all right. Heating things up pretty well. Should be good. Should be good. I'm going to move this over there. Let's see. I don't know. Got a lot going on, but not a lot I can share at the moment, unfortunately. But that's all right. We'll have fun making this lizard. So, you know, I had a whole list of things to talk about, and I forget half of them. I apologize. So the reason I am making this particular lizard is because I am trying to make a bottle opener. And I joined an Instagram monthly blacksmith challenge group. And so every month we have a new challenge. Last month we made tools together. And this month is bottle openers. And bottle openers are typically really easy and to do. It's basically just punch a hole in a piece of steel, open that hole up, and kind of put in a little bit of a tab so that you can open the bottles. So I'm trying to kind of make this a little bit more complex and impressive, you know, because I want to try and win the competition at least a little bit, right? And we've already got some absolutely gorgeous bottle openers within the challenge that have already been submitted. So I'm really trying to come up with something really cool. And I'm hoping that this lizard, you know, turns out pretty decently. But I've never really done any of, or any animal making before. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's pretty fun actually. I am learning that I think I'm gonna need new tools. So I don't know. Well, maybe we'll make a set of animal making tools or animal forging tools. Seems like a plan to me. I love making tools. It's one of my. It's starting to become one of my favorite things to do. Is make tools. I really only recently started making my own tools, aside from tongs, because I can never have enough tongs and they're never the right like size. So constantly making new tongs, but other than that, I really don't have a lot of tool making experience either. All right, so we've made the legs kind of get out of the way a little bit. Let me see if I can't do that a little bit. Okay, so now they're definitely out of the way. So it's definitely time to start drawing these out. So we can kind of see that we can do this. And this side is going to be a little bit more challenging, kind of moving outside of the tail. So I'm going to heat this back up and we're going to see where we're at from there. If I can get it in this kiln, or I mean forge. I'm calling it kiln, guys. I cannot get it that side. Okay. How about I go from this side and it'll get warm, but it won't get too warm. There we go. That works. Have you decided where the bottle opening function will be on the lizard? So for this particular bottle opener, my plan is to draw out the tail and to make a zigzag bottle opener style. So there are two types of bottle openers that you can kind of make. One kind of reminds me of like a cheese grater, right? Where it's kind of got a zigzag. And it's basically, you know, you have a flat bit that you pop underneath of the cap, and then you just need a bit of leverage to be able to pull it up. Well, I think I can do that with the tail of this lizard. Now, most bottle openers that you think of when you talk about bottle openers, they're round, right? So I'm not going to do that with the tail. But I may end up doing something like that in the future. If I want to, just quickly make a bottle opener, those are a really nice way of doing it. It's just like, you flatten out your piece of steel, you punch a hole in it, and then open up that hole, and then you put a little flat in there. And I can do that. I've done that before on stream, but very simplistically. So we'll probably do another bottle opener in that style at some point within the next, few weeks, probably. So yeah, we're kind of thinking about the tail at the moment. And I mean, I could very well change my mind halfway through this process. Oftentimes I do. So I'm going to let that kind of marinate in the heat for a little while because I can't get it in the forge the way that I really want the heat. So I'm hoping that some of the color will come through and I'll be able to move the tail a little bit further down. Otherwise, we'll just work on, the head a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, this is the first time that I have done anything like this, so I'm kind of fumbling my way through it. So if you like problem solving and you like a little bit of incompetence, you're in the right spot. How's the metal smacking going? How are you today? Hey, Dr. Optimal, welcome to the stream. Also, T Dumpling, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. So we're still working on our lizard, and I'm trying really hard to kind of problem solve this a little bit. I want to make sure that I keep using the mailbox, but I've bent everything outwards in such a way that I can't really put all sides of the lizard in the mailbox. So I'm kind of problem solving a little bit, trying to figure out how to do what I need to do. Hey Corwin, welcome to the stream. All right, let's do another heat. Gonna do a couple more with this angle and then we'll probably change angles again. All right, let's see if we can't move that tail down a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're going to turn this around again. Maybe. And I don't know, let's do a little bit of work on the head. We want to kind of have a little bit of an angle on this head so that he has like a nostril. I don't know why I just gave this lizard pronouns. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can't put this direction, and then we'll work a little bit on the tail and the legs. On that side, we made a little bit of progress here on the snout. There we go. We can get back into the forge. That's exciting. That's what I wanted. Dropping things all over the place. Always, always. So yeah. Let's see. So I talked a little bit about the end of this month. We are going to be, or I guess not this month, the end of April, we're going to be going to the Ozarks to the BAM conference, which is the Blacksmith Association of Missouri. And it's about a 3-hour drive, 3.5 hours. And I'm really super excited about it. It's a big gathering of blacksmiths that, you know, it's kind of the big gathering in Missouri. They also have like weekly events, but I don't always get to go out to them because I'm in Illinois, and so I'm about equidistance between Missouri, Indiana, and the Upper Midwest Blacksmith Association. So I'm kind of isolated in the middle of a lot of people. So while I don't get to see people weekly, I do get to see people several times a year. So that is going to be the first conference that we are going to this year. I'm hoping that we can get out to 6 different events, but that's definitely going to depend on gas prices, actually. I'm not going to get into why, and we're not going to talk about that, but yeah, I hope that we can get to 6 different ones, but I may end up having to pick and choose which ones we go to. Hopefully you'll be able to make it to Haverhill in May. I will have to take a look at that. Is that another Upper Midwest Blacksmith Association? I was not able to, or I will not be able to make it to the one that is right after. Okay, is that the one that is the second week in May? Because unfortunately, I will not be able to make that one because it is 2 weeks in a row, because BAM is the week before that, and I've already committed to going to BAM. So then I need about a week to rest. And so unfortunately, I don't think that I will be able to make that particular one. I apologize. I wanted to, and I did talk to the butler about going, and the butler really wanted to make it happen. But when we realized that it was 1 and a second week, 2 weeks in a row, it started to become unfeasible, because I need some time to rest, unfortunately. But I will definitely get up to one of the Oomba events at, like, I'm hoping to this year. That is one that I would love to get to, or, you know, an event I would love to get there. It has been many a year since I've actually managed to get to an Oomba event. And so I definitely want to get to one. All right, let's do another heat. So we are starting to draw this little leg here. Drop. It's starting to get nice and skinny and long. Couple more heats and we should be fine. We should be able to do that relatively well. All right. Drop. Yes. We're dropping stuff. I think that's probably like my 4th drop today, though. I won't lie. The first thing that I did today when I turned on the stream is I walked over here and I went to say hi, guys, and I immediately dropped my tongs. I feel like I do that all the time, you know. I drop stuff all the time. I'm gonna move the camera because we've been in that same position for quite a while. So let's get us some variety. We'll come over here like so. Alrighty. So I have been looking at the footage that I shot for our scissors while we were streaming them. And I actually have some pretty decent angles. And I think I remembered to change angles on the camera well enough that I actually have been able to, every time I do another heat, I'm able to change the angles. So that's really exciting because a lot of times it looks a little bit boring when you're doing the full process of drawing something out from the same angle. I can do it 3 or more times if you want. I think that the Nightbot won't let you do it too many times. I think it catches the spam quite a lot. But yeah, I'm super excited about all of the different angles that I was able to come up with for the scissor video. And it looks really nice so far. I started working on it yesterday. And yeah, I pulled the B-roll because yesterday what I did was I went and I scripted everything, right? So what I do when I'm scripting is I go through the transcript of everything that I've said while I've streamed, and then I write down anything that I missed or anything that I stumbled over so that I can make sure that I get a good, clear version of everything or of all of the different steps. And so today I pulled all of the B-roll and there's some really great shots. I'm super excited to put that out next week. So I hope that you guys like it. I think I'm going to title it, if I can do it, you can do it, because I think that, you know, the scissors seem like a really hard project, but we made it happen. And I think that if you're patient enough, you can make it happen too. This video, I think, for this lizard, it's going to be a little bit challenging to script because I really don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm not really doing anything in order, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Maybe what I'll do for this video is I'll take all of the best exciting bits of me hammering the lizard and, you know, crafting it, and then kind of give it a little bit of a commentary. So maybe it's more of a behind the scenes thing than a how-to video. You know what? Maybe I'll change tongs because those are being a pain in the butt. All right, more heat. Always, always more heat. You could just edit it in any order you want, though. I mean, to an extent, yes, I could edit it any way I want, but I think it would be really jarring if I started doing some stuff and you can definitely see that other stuff is done and I haven't gotten to that part yet. So I don't know. We shall see. I think what I'll probably end up doing is watch through all of my B-roll, see what I've got, and, you know, look through some of the scripting and see what I can put together. It might be a more challenging video, but it'll probably be a little bit more free form. And I think it'll turn out or I think that it'll become a nice video. So, this week I have planned on making animals, and we might actually push into next week as well, depending on, you know, how far we get with the lizard, how quickly, and then if we're able to make a second animal. But I haven't quite decided what I want to do for my next project. I have a lot of project ideas, but I don't know which one I want to pick. So I need something that's relatively short. And I think I've got a few that I want to try. Like I said, there's more tongs, something that's going to hold animals a little bit better. We could do more detailing tools, like if we did more chisels and punches, but that might be a little bit boring because we just did a set of chisels. I've got the hammerhead that I want to do because I want to make a chasing hammer, and I cracked the one that we did in like January or February, and I haven't even attempted it again. So I'd like to do that. And then there's a couple other things that I've been thinking about, and they're on my list of things to do, and I can't remember I can't remember them offhand. I do know also that I have a sheet of 1/2-inch plate, right? And I want to make a guillotine tool out of it. So I have a sheet. It's about yay big, so it will probably be a smaller guillotine, or it will be a smaller guillotine tool. But what a guillotine tool is it's a frame that sits in the square hole on the hardy hole on an anvil, and you can put different dies in it, and it will allow you to kind of make different types of tooling. So I can do fullering, I can do drawing out, I can make dies that will allow me to create like textures, leaves, acorns, things like that. So that's another thing that I want to do, but that's more fabrication than blacksmithing. So I don't know. That might actually be something that I work on weekends. I don't know. But if there's anything that you guys want to see, let me know. I would love to take ideas from you guys. I've got quite a lot of stock that we can work with, and it will be fun. More stuff to do. Let me see if I can pull this out. Maybe I want to pull it this way. This is probably a better way to do that. Dropping it again. So we're starting to get some good legs on there. You can kind of see them. So I think we're going to do a little bit of work on this tail next. Maybe if I can move the tail out of the way, it'll work a little bit better. I'll be able to draw out the legs better. So yeah, I have a list of projects that I want to do, but I haven't decided what we're going to do next off of the list. So recently we made a ladle, we made some punches and chisels, we made a piece of armor, we made a pair of scissors. We've gotten a lot of stuff. So I need to come up with a plan for what we're going to do. We're starting to get some good progress on this lizard. I'm kind of excited about it. So yeah. We do have an ad coming up in about 2.5 minutes. So I am... Let's see if we can't do another heat before the ad starts. So let's try this. It's going to be a little on the cooler side, but I think it'll be all right. Maybe if I move it this way, that might work a little better. I don't know. Really, the whole thing is I'm having issues holding my pieces, or my piece. All right, I'm going to heat that up again, and I'm going to drop it again. That's the whole thing, right? I keep dropping my stuff. I don't have a good grip on it. And that is my fault for not having any good tongs for this process. Let's see if I can't get this in here. There we go. It's in. Tricky working around pieces smaller than your tools. Exactly. That is my issue, is that my tools are too big. So I don't know. Maybe I should be using my scrolling tongs. I don't know. I kind of also feel like my scrolling tongs aren't going to be the best for this either. But I don't know. Definitely need to make a set of tools for making animals if we're going to make more animals. And I do really find that, or I think this is actually pretty fun. As much as I'm struggling with it, I do think it's really fun. So we will probably make more animals after I make some tools. Or make bigger animals, right? I don't really have a good, like, stock size for bigger animals than this. So I don't know. Maybe I need to go to the junkyard or the steel supply and see if I can't get some offcuts of some bigger stock. I've got a steel supply store that's relatively close to me. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have some good offcuts for me. I don't need like 20 feet of 1-inch square bar or anything. I just need a couple chunks here and there, I think. All right, we got an ad break here. Our, I think, third one today. So I guess we're about a little less than halfway through the stream. I gotta move a little faster, I think. We'll get there. So it looks like the lizard, or I'm starting to draw out the lizard's tail. So it's starting to get a little bit longer, but it's also starting to stick up more. So maybe I can bring it down a little bit and then I can draw it out more. I've got plenty of material to make a really long, nice tail. So I just gotta keep on trucking until I can make it happen. And then I need to continue working on the feet, or like, I guess the legs. The legs. I don't know. I love casting. That's how I would normally do this. I would normally sculpt this in wax and do a lost cast wax casting for this. Or, you know, a great other, or, you know, if I'm not if I'm not hand sculpting out of wax and casting it with metal, I could also 3D print something. You know, I could take like a 3D model of a lizard, print it out, and cast that. But this is more challenging. Definitely a different way of looking at things than I am used to. I'm sure one day we'll do a little bit of casting. I have talked to the butler about getting a 3D printer. I don't want to become a 3D printing channel or anything, but you know, doing some 3D printing could be fun. You know what? It could be fun. You know what else could be fun? Being able to pick this up. There we go. Goodness gracious. So we are making some progress. It's slow going, but we're definitely making progress. Trying to keep lowering the tail so that I can still get it into the forge as we're going. That's my main issue, is I'm having a lot of trouble manipulating this piece in general. Getting it in and out of the forge and holding it with my tongs. So it's a little bit slow going. Let's see, do I have any other tongs? Or maybe these ones will work? I don't know, I might be able to grab a hold of the head with these guys. I think these guys, I'm not going to use these anymore. I think these guys are a problem. So let's try these. This is why you always have a million sets of tongs, because oftentimes they're very specific and they aren't going to hold what you need them to. So you got to pick up a different set. A different set. So, yep. I have kind of decided, I told you guys that one of my projects is going to be a hammerhead. I'd like to do a raising hammer, just like this guy right here. And I made a hammer, like a drift, so that I can open up the hole to put a head, or a handle in the head of hammer, and it was too small. So I think I want to buy one. I know I should probably just make one, but I don't really have a good piece of stock, and so I'm being a little bit lazy, and I think I really want to buy one when I get to Quad State, or not Quad State, BAM. But we'll see. I may end up making it anyway. I've got that giant axle that we can make things out of, so we might make a hammer drift out of it or an axe drift. I really wanted to take the Corwin sent me that box of metal, and there is some railroad clips in there, and they're really big, thick clips. And I thought that they'd make a great drift, but unfortunately they're a little bit too small for the maximum width that I need for a hammer drift. So unfortunately, I don't think that I'll be able to make it out of that. But I should be able to make one out of the axle if I'm feeling less lazy. It's probably what I should be doing. I should be doing that. All right, let's see if this works better. Hey, look at that. It seems to be working all right. Not bad. I need to work on the legs a little bit further. So we're getting the back end together. It's starting to work a little bit. Slowly but surely, we're making some progress. Super exciting. I need to turn it around though so I can start working on the front face. The front legs are a little bit splayed better, and I think we're going to make a lot more faster progress on those. So I kind of wonder if using a smaller hammer would work any better on these animals. Part of me is like, yeah, the smaller the head, I can get into smaller spots. But I'm also wondering if, like, the lack of weight is going to make it more challenging to move the material. Part of the reason you use such large hammers in blacksmithing is so that you can move the material at a relatively high rate, or a high speed. So, random thoughts on, or that I'm coming up with to problem solve. Yeah, more precise hits. Not moving the material, but not moving material. Yeah, see, that's what I'm afraid of, right? I just don't think there's going to be enough weight. But I've seen blacksmiths use smaller hammers to make more precise hits before. I don't know. Maybe I just need heavier heads, maybe I just need heavier metal for the heads of my hammer. You know, more dense metal. My brain is moving faster than my mouth can spit out the words right now. So I'm having a lot of trouble. Apologies. So, yeah. Some days it'd be like that, though. Attack driving hammer shape, maybe. Yeah. So there are less bulky, more long and skinny. Yes, that would probably work pretty well. Because they are a little bit on the heavier side, like attack driving hammer is. And the other thing that you make me think of, because I am like the first thing that I imagined when you said tack driving was a really broad but thin head with a smaller area. But I think that would, like a chasing hammer. But I don't think that would work. I think the tack hammer that you're talking about is right. Goodness gracious. What'd I do? If you guys were still using the, or, counting on the drop counter, I would be in big trouble, guys. I'd be in big trouble. Goodness gracious. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is there's a lump right there, and I'm trying to get at it, but it's also under the tail, so I'm having a little bit of issue. So I think the next heat we're going to go over to the post vise, because if I put it in the post vise, I think I can get in there. So I don't know. This is super challenging, guys. I feel like I'm doing nothing. Let me move the camera. I apologize, guys. One of these days. I will be more articulate. But I think part of it is that I'm using all my brain cells to for the piece that I'm working on, and I don't have as many for some of the other things. What about using a punch to concentrate your blows? That's kind of what I was doing when I grabbed the cross-peen hammer in the beginning of the stream, right? Because I was able to place the cross-peen in exactly the position that I needed it to be in. And then I was able to hammer the head or the other head. And that worked beautifully. And that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Would need a third hand or a vise to hold. Yeah, I moved the camera from over there and it's now pointed at the vise. So I think what we're going to do is we might use, I haven't, which one we might use. I might use this guy, right? So if I put this guy on the area that I want to move, and then I can hammer this area, and I will be able to be more precise. You're ahead of me, GG. Yeah. I mean, not far ahead of you, because I just thought about it. But yes, see, that's why I love you guys, because you come up with these awesome ideas, and whether I think of them first or not, it's still a great idea. Something to try, anything. And then we also have, you know, my chisels and stuff. So we've also got this one, which is, it's got a pretty broad head for a punch, but it's really small for a, you know, for precision hits. All right. Let's try it. Let's see how well this works. I'm not sure. So yeah, we're definitely problem solving today. Seeing what we can make happen. All right. So if I think this is actually going to be the way to go. This one and this one, like so. Got to be a little bit careful that I don't rip his crotch. But we've got a nice open area there that we should be able to use a little bit better. And you can see that like that. So hopefully I'll be able to move the material relatively well from there. If I can get it in the forge, that is. That's always the problem, opening up areas or new areas, is am I going to be able to get it back in the forge? Yeah, that worked. It did. And I got rid of that little sharp burr that I was trying to get rid of. So I think I'm going to come back over to the face of the anvil and see if we can't work that in-between area a little bit easier now. But if that doesn't work, we'll go back over to the post vice, because I really thought this was going to be a post vice stream in the beginning, and I don't know, maybe it still will be. I'm feeling pretty good, so hopefully, you know, we'll be able to go a little bit long today and get a little bit more work in. All right, so we'll move that and that over there. We're going to move this over here. This one can go over there as well. Hey, Shelly, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. So I am struggling through trying to make a lizard out of a steel. I've never really done animal making, but it's a very popular thing for blacksmithing, or for blacksmiths to make. So I figured I'd try my hand at it. The goal is to create a bottle opener, and I wanted to be a little bit fancy with this bottle opener and kind of challenge myself a little bit. We just finished working on a challenge project, but I thought this one would be a little less challenging. But you know what? Everything can be challenging if you do it wrong enough. All right, let's do another heat. See what we can do with what we had, or the what we've left ourselves. If I can get it out of the forge, that would also help. All right. It seems to be working relatively well. Now let's try this leg. All right. Not bad. I think I like those legs. We might bend those in for our next heat, and then we'll continue working, or maybe we'll just continue working on the tail first and then bend those in. I'm pretty happy with the legs though so far. Now, it took some doing. It looks like a lizard to me. I gotta duck out early today. More outside chores to do. Good luck and have fun. I'll catch the VOD later. Thank you so much, Mahalo. Have fun. Or, you know, take it easy with the work. I think it looks like a lizard too, for the moment. World of Confusion, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. I promise it's not the scatterbrain most of the time. I don't know. Maybe that's why you're following. So, you know. Hey, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the struggle. You are so right. I do not have the right tools for this project. And I think I'm going to add them to the list of, you know, projects. I think I definitely need another set of tongs, like a set of alligator or like a wolf jaws. I don't know. Sometimes they're called wolf jaws. Sometimes they're called alligator tongs. But yeah, I definitely need a set of those because I think that'll make it a lot easier for me to hold on to this piece and subsequent pieces. And then I also need some more chisels and punches so that I can do the detail work, like scales and eyes and mouths and things like that. So I feel like I have a little bit of a poor man setup. So this first one is going to be a little but the next subsequent ones, hopefully they'll get a little better. Yeah, holding them is always a pain. Definitely. I'm really hurting here. I got these tongs that I'm trying to use. These are like, I don't even know what kind of tongs these are. Are these for like horseshoes? I found these at an antique store and I put them back into service. And then these are a set of tongs. They're like the second set that I ever made. Gungren, hello, my favorite girl blacksmith, the only one I know. Well, hello, welcome. So yeah, I'm having a lot of issues holding this piece, and I'm trying to work on it, but you know, my other thing that is a challenge right now is getting the piece in and out of my forge. The only thing I'd add that you haven't mentioned is a chain hold down for the anvil. That is another thing that's on the list of projects that I need to do because Mahalo sent me a motorcycle chain in the mail and I still have yet to make the hold down for it because I haven't decided if I want two hooks on one on either end of the chain or if I want to bolt the chain to my anvil stand and then have a weight on the other side. So there's merits for both. And I don't know. I don't know which one. Let's do another heat. Let us struggle through another heat. Okay, so we're gonna look at the tail a little bit now. So with the size of the tail as it is right now, I cannot make this into a bottle opener like I wanted to. Whoops! Because the tail just is not going to be long enough. But you know what? We can keep on keeping on, and maybe we'll make up some extra length later. So yeah, we're starting to get some good legs and tail going there. Maybe we're going to turn this around for a moment and kind of work a little bit on the face and the front legs a little bit. So we've got back legs, a tail, a body. Let's see if we can't put a snout on there. Can you make me sulfurous mace from my dwarf paladin, or you need black anvil for that? I'm pretty sure that I need some dark iron for that, and I need some eyes of sulfurous first. Gotta kill Ragnaros a couple times for me. All right. I have an ad. True. I have an ad break starting in about 2.5 minutes, and I'm out of water. So I'm also out of Gatorade, and I am out of juice. So the only other thing besides water that I have is soda. So either soda or I'll refill the water. But yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to make some progress, so I'm super excited. But I think it's going to take me the last hour and a half to finish this piece. So we probably won't be starting a new animal until Friday. Or I don't know, if this goes poorly enough, maybe I will just make a bottle opener that just has a twist in it. The whole point was to turn this into a bottle opener, and I think the tail is a little bit too short. I don't know. Problem solving. It makes a better blacksmith, right? You get better when you work through your issues. What do we got? We got an ad starting in about a minute. So when that ad starts, I'm going to get something else to drink. And I'm just going to let the heat soak into the front end of our lizard. I think I'm definitely going to need to use the post vise for a little bit with this guy, because I kind of want to fuller in the neck and give it some like cheeks and some dimensions. So we kind of want the shape of the head to be like this. So we're definitely going to need to use the post vise to get those back ends of the cheeks in, and then we're also going to be needing a little bit of tapering to get that nose. Yeah, one I wanted to make but never did is a anvil bridge to make isolations way better. What is an anvil bridge? I don't know that I've ever heard of that. But I mean, I've only been a blacksmith for, working in blacksmithing for so long. So is it like a hold down that goes this direction? I do, like I said, one of the projects that I have on my list is turning my 1/2-inch plate into a. I'll send you a pic on Discord. Okay, cool. But yeah, one of the projects that I want to do is a guillotine tool. So yeah. All right, we are in the middle of an ad, so I'm gonna go grab my water or soda. I guess it's my soda. and I will be right back. Bad, Ray, bad. You should not be drinking soda in the shop. Wow, we have dropped a lot of frames today. Got lots and lots of heat on there. It should be good. Good to start working a little bit on the front arms and the face. The head? I think the head. Alrighty. I think for this one, I want to work on the face of the anvil for a little bit, and then after that, I will move the camera over here. Yes, that's what we're going to do. This might actually be easier with these tongs this time. Hang on to the tail properly this time. Or maybe less than properly, I don't know. Starting to get that snout in there. I want to leave that thick enough that maybe we have a chance to open that up. I doubt it's really going to be that open, but I don't know. All right. So we've got a nice snout going there. So is the next thing that I want to do working on the back of the neck, or do I want to work on the front legs first? I think I want to do that fullering next. If I can get this in there, I can apparently. That's good. Okay. So I need to move that over here. So that you guys can see. Whoops. Ah! Tripping over my cables. There we go. Okay. We should be good. We got enough heat? Probably not too much. Okay, so I need a better chisel because this one's got a nice point on it. I need something that is a little bit more of a fuller and less of a point. This one has less of a point, the one that we made together. It's not really what I'm looking for either. I don't know that will work either, but I will try it. I don't know if this will work. This was a spoon blank, so we'll see if I can't fuller it with this. When I was a kid in Southwest Oklahoma, we would catch horny toads, as we called them, which are horned lizards. They have flat bodies with legs splayed out. When I was a kid, I went to Alabama when one of my friends was going on vacation there, and they brought me with them, and we went to a creek and we caught newts. Newt. It's like a little lizard. And I became obsessed with newts. They were absolutely adorable. So I made my mom get me some newts as pets. And so, yeah, this is kind of like a tribute to the newts that I killed as a child. All right, let's do another heat. We'll do that side, I think. Unfortunately, they just did not survive very long in our household because, you know, reasons, I guess. Ouch. There we go. That should work pretty well. Let's see what I can do with this. Let's see. Let's try and put that there. And then we'll hammer it like so. All right. I have a different idea. Okay, that seems to be working a bit. So we're going to do this a couple more times, and we'll get a little bit more progress each time. So we started right there. We kind of made a little bit of a fullering area right there, the back of a chin. I want to do a little bit more of that and some on the side too. But yeah, the more I think about this, the more I think I'm not going to be able to make the bottle opener I want out of this. Yeah, newts. Have you seen the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail? There is a funny scene that mentions a newt. I've seen some of Monty Python. I don't think I've seen that part though. I think most of the ones that I remember the most in relation to pets is like the Haffabee. And then there's also like a bird that's dead. And the guy is trying to return the dead bird. And they won't return it because they're claiming it's alive. But those are the ones that I remember the most as in regards to pets. I guess okay, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I guess those skits are in the Flying Circus. I have seen Holy Grail, but it's been a really long time. Super long. Yeah, those are skits from the TV show Monty Python's Flying Circus. Yeah. Members. I got it confused, apparently. All right. How far are we on getting heat on our head? A little bit longer. What do I remember of the Holy Grail? I remember the knights who say knee, and I remember the coconuts. The newt thing is when a woman is accused of being a witch, and they are trying to figure out if she's indeed a witch. Oh, okay. I remember that skit too. I do. Vaguely. All right, let's do another heat. I think we'll do that side. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see. Exactly what I want to see. Let me turn this around so you guys can see what I did. So we've got a nice fuller right there. So you can definitely see that it is starting to isolate that head out. So I'm going to heat this on the other side, and so that way we can get the rest of that going. We are going to want to flatten it out just a little bit further on the face of the anvil, but I want to put the other side, the fuller, in first. She turned me into a newt. Well, I got better. I remember that now. I do remember that now. It's been so long, though. I'm a little bit... I'm more of an action movie person than a comedy person. So, and I do watch them. I just don't watch them often. So it's been a while. The butler keeps trying to get me to watch Spaceballs, and I just can't get into it. So, yeah, I think this is going to take me the rest of the stream. We'll go a little bit on the longer side just to make sure that we finish it. I definitely want to put some eyes and nostrils on this newt or lizard or whatever, what have you. And maybe flatten out the little feet a little bit. We're definitely going to do a little bit more drawing out on the front feet as well. So we'll see what we can get. It might not be a bottle opener, but it'll definitely look like a lizard by the time I'm done. Let's do another heat. I'll hold it this way. All right. That's a lot better. I think I'm pretty happy with that, actually. There we go. Yes. Let's pull this out and I can show you what I got going. Or maybe it's me that I need to look at. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So we're going to heat this back up and we're going to continue working on the head a little bit. Not bad. I'm actually pretty stoked. This is working now. Finally, it's starting to look like what it's supposed to be, guys. Put that down there. I'm gonna want maybe, but probably not at first. Probably not that one. Oh, that's my other thing. We're definitely gonna want this guy though. This guy, because this is my round punch, and this is my, this one also, it's my center punch. Yay! Yeah, it's starting to work like I think it should. That's always exciting to see. It's probably not going to be the best looking newt or lizard in the world, but you know what? It's going to be The best I can do right now. So I don't know if Corwin is still watching or actively watching, but when Corwin sent me all of the material, like, I don't know, a month or so ago, he sent me a hairpin, and it is like the tiniest. He drew it down so tiny and so skinny. It has been a real inspiration for me because I am awful at drawing things down thin enough. So I've just been like picking it up and examining it and playing with it, and it's sitting at my desk. So every time I'm thinking about editing or waiting on something to load or render, or waiting for a web page, when I'm actively watching videos, sometimes I'll fiddle with it, and I really enjoy the feel of it. And I don't know, maybe I'll try and put the lizard there too, so then I have two things to fiddle with. All right, I'm going to move the camera over to the face of the anvil again. But yeah, Corwin's hairpin has been incredibly inspirational for me, as well as John's slow pace and meticulous crafting. And Jack gives me all kinds of ideas. And a lot of you have given me different ideas, and I've changed the way I approach things because of you guys' suggestions. And so I have more than just your support to thank you for. I fully support fidgeting with your forged items. Yes, it's awesome. They're fun to play with, and they have this tactile feeling to them. I love it. Alright, let's see if I can't pick this out of the forge. Alright. We got a little bit of fish lipping in here that I kind of want to address. I want to see what I can do with it. I'm not sure yet. Whoops, I'm dropping things again. Oh, come on. You know you want to be held in these lovely tongs so I don't burn myself. I think it's just the bottom, really. Alright. So I think the head, I'm going to leave that be for now. What I want to do next for the head, I'm not ready to do it yet, but I want to take the eyes. We're going to take the center punch that I've got, and we're going to punch eyeballs in like so. But we're going to do that over on the post vise. So the thing we're going to do before that is we're going to start working on the front legs. See if we can't maybe separate them more or something. We shall see. At least draw them out a little more. Got a few more decorations I want to do to the back end as well. I want to see if I can't draw the tail out a little bit further. There's plenty of material there. I can definitely get some more length out of that. I also want to take, I made myself a curved chisel. And this is kind of an unusual thing to do. But I want to take the back legs and put a cut where like a hip might be, so that we can kind of make it look like the legs are going forward and then backward. So we're going to be doing some decoration soon. Like I said, I kind of want to draw out those front legs just a little bit. We might even cut some of that off because I don't need them to be like super long, but you know, we definitely want them to look nice. I think this next half an hour is going to be dedicated to finalizing the overall shape of this lizard, and then the last half hour I'm gonna extend the stream to a 3-hour stream. In that last half hour I'm gonna spend kind of decorating, adding nostrils and eyeballs and maybe a little bit of texture. I've got this lovely hammer here, and I think I might be able to put some like lumps and bumps in the lizard's back, and I think this might work pretty well for that. Like I said, I don't know that this is going to turn into a bottle opener like I wanted it to. And so we'll probably do a bottle opener real quick on Friday. But it's definitely, I'm learning a lot. This is very informative as far as a project. Learning all the things. All right, a couple more heats. We're gonna keep on keeping on. You're approaching my favorite part to do. What's your favorite part to do? The decoration, like the eyes and the mouth and stuff? Is that your favorite? Yeah, the sculptural, or the sculpture with the chisels. Yeah. That's probably the funnest part. Moving cheekbones into the right place and putting eyebrows, etc. Yeah, that's probably going to be my favorite part as well. Turning it, I wish that it took me a lot less time to move all of the pieces in position so that I can start working on that, though. You know, it's taken me a whole stream and a half just to move all of the pieces where they need to go. And like I said, this is my very first attempt at this, and so it is taking a lot longer because I don't know what I'm doing with it. And every subsequent animal will get just a little bit quicker, just a little bit quicker. So I'm super excited about making more, you know? Are you being dumb? I think it's all right. It's coming along great. Well, I'm glad that it is, because at first, you know, it's one of those things where I guess I gotta trust the process, because it sure did not look good for the first like day. I felt like I was feeling very, you know, very less than all day on Monday. All right, so we're bringing his little leg there forward a little bit. grab a hold of the tail. Alright. Bring them a little bit closer together like so because I need to get it back in the forge. So, I don't know. I'm not entirely happy with this front transition, but you know what? That's alright. We can always stick it into the post vise and kind of address that a little bit too. We might do that actually. Well, I'd encourage you not to in the future. Isolating the mass out initially is the hardest part for sure. Yeah. Isolating the mass is really challenging, it seems. All right. I'm going to move this camera over here. I have in my head what I want it to look like, and it's probably not helping me along, you know? Because I feel like this is one of those things where you got to forge with your heart, and I'm trying to be really precise about it. Who is isolating the math? I mean, we're isolating one side, you know? I don't know what equation we're using, though, is my problem. Maybe that's the whole problem, is I don't know what math equation we're using. I see. All right. I think, what do I want to use to isolate that, or to do that? Do I want to use this one? No, I do not. Do I want to use this one? Is that, no, that's thicker than this one. I'm looking for a fuller, or something I can use for a fuller anyway. That one might work. I've got a nice around here. I might be able to use this as a fuller. So we're going to try this. And that can go in there. So yeah, we're having fun. We're starting to get it, and it's starting to look the way we want it to, and definitely good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to have the head and feet, the ones that look like this, I think they're going to be sticking up, and we're going to use the fuller in the front chest area to kind of separate those two legs and kind of clean that area up a little bit. We do have an ad that is starting any moment now, so once that ad is over, we will start doing that clean up. From there, I think I might actually just start working on doing the decoration stuff, because I think that we're getting pretty darn close. Maybe I'll move the elbows. It depends. It depends. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting video because I'm sitting here like second guessing myself overall, and I'm not doing things in any particular order. So I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to be a fun video. All right. So the ad break's going to end here shortly. And I'm also moving my post device around as I do this. So I'm having to re-center my camera all the time. All right. Let's do another heat. See what we can do. Oh wait, I still have some tail that I need to deal with. I forgot about that. I said we were going to deal with the tail a little bit more. Oh, get in there. There we go. That's better. It's a little bit wobbly, but that's all right. There we go. That's better. All right. Okay. So we've added a little bit of area right there that it's clean, or it's a little bit cleaner. So I think that's all right. I might want to turn this way and work a little bit as well. Yeah, I keep thinking to myself all these different things that I need to do and whatnot. So you can kind of see if as I rotate this, where we're at. I'm actually pretty happy with the back end, except for that tail. So let's do some, I don't know. What am I going to do next? I don't know. Maybe we'll go back over to the anvil and work on the tail a little more. I know I said that I wasn't going to do that, but I am. Ugh. You know what? It takes as long as it takes, guys. Just remember, it takes as long as it takes. Or it's me that needs to remember that it takes as long as it takes. Ah. This actually works pretty good for a fuller. I'm going to put it over there for now. That's one of the hammers that I don't normally keep on my hammer rack. I have several hammers that just don't have homes on the hammer rack because I need to make another hammer rack, but I just haven't done it because I keep forgetting that I have extra hammers. So we are heating up the tail, so it's going to take us a little bit of extra time to do that. Hopefully we can get everything held correctly and whatnot. But yeah. I'm actually really excited about this because it's working out better than I had hoped. And yeah, that makes me happy. A lot. Very happy. You know what? Oh, I do have them. They're over here. They're over there. Okay. So, how are we doing? It's going to take us a couple heats to do this, so we're going to do our first heat right now. See if I can't hang on to it this direction. I don't know. We shall see. He's not wanting me to grab his head. Dropping things, man, dropping things. He definitely does look like a lizard, though. I'm going to heat this back up again. I'm going to keep on keeping on that tail. Definitely starting to look like a lizard. It won't fit in the forge. There we go. How are you aiming for at the tip of the tail? Oh, how thin am I aiming for? I was aiming for relatively thin. Like, this is like 4 times thicker than I had wanted it to be. But I think that's going to take me quite a bit of time to do. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll take the camera, bring it over here, and use the horn of the anvil to make some of that happen in our next heat. Because I really wanted to thin it out so that I could turn it into a bottle opener. And I know I have enough to do that, or like a length to do, or material to lengthen it to do that, but I don't know that I have the time to do that. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Let's try this. And I'm going to put that right there. All right, we're starting to get some light. All right, we're going to heat that up, and we're going to keep on keeping on for a little bit. I am actually starting to get some weirdness on that side, so I'm going to be a little bit careful. Longer tail for the lizard. That is what I'm looking for. This guy right here. I could probably do a couple more heats with that. Thin it out a little bit more. And then we'll start decorating it. Once we're done with the tail, we'll probably just start decorating it. I didn't add any hands or anything, and it would be really nice to have some hands, but I don't know. Maybe we'll add some when we're decorating. Things and stuff. It's actually working. That's crazy. Okay. Let's do another heat. Ah! As I drop it. As I drop it. I said I was only going to do one more heat, but I dropped it, so that may end up making another heat because the tip of the tail is kind of thick. And I don't really want to crack it. All right, we will be doing one more heat. Apologies. I almost have it the way I think it will look nice. Oh, I wouldn't be doing 5 toes on each foot. I would pretty much just be taking like a round punch or like the ball peen of a hammer and just like hammering, like flattening out the very ends, because that would kind of create a little round and divot, or like divot. And yeah. And whiskers. Do lizards have whiskers? That's supposed to be a lizard. I do have plans to do a cat, and cats have whiskers. I don't think I can put whiskers on, or like sticky outy whiskers, but I might be able to put some like, you know, whiskers that like follow the face. Whiskers. I need a tribute to my beautiful kitty. They do in Britain. Oh, do they? Are they like the frilled ones? Is that what we're talking about? Frilled lizards. We don't have any of those around here. Most of our lizards are sleek. The shape reminds me of the lizards I saw in a nature show that were crawling on a lion and jumping to catch flies. Well, I'm glad that it reminds you of a lizard. You know? Because that's something, right? That's definitely something. All right. Let's finish this tail. And then we'll start decorating it. Ah! I lost hold of it. All right. We've got a nice tail going there. I'm pretty happy with that. It's longer than the legs, and that's really what I wanted. Okay. So we're going to turn this around like so. We're going to toss this in there, and we're going to start working on the face. So we're going to put nostrils and eyeballs. Nostrils and eyeballs. So we're going to do those on the post vise. It's going to take me a couple heats each for these. I'm hoping that I can get them, you know, relatively good in here. We're going to be using our punches and chisels to kind of decorate this. Come on. Why are you not wanting? Okay, there we go. So we're probably going to put the eyes in with our center punch. I think. That, or we'll put them in with this. This is just a round punch. Maybe we'll do the round punch and then we'll do the center punch. That might work. I'm going to put these over here because we're probably going to be doing most of this over on the post vise. These can go over here for now. I'll put this here and that there. Try to be as efficient as possible for this. If I can get the face and the decorations done fast enough, I will do a little bit of bending to kind of give elbows and a swirl for the tail, or a swish for the tail. But we shall see. We shall see how this works. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. I don't want it to be like that. I kind of want it to, okay. So we're gonna go on this side. Oops, that's the wrong side. We're gonna do this, I think, maybe. This might be a little bit too big. It looks like it is. So let's do this instead. All right, I'm gonna heat this back up again. We lost a lot of heat because I was being really inefficient. I wasn't sure exactly what I was up to. But we've got the beginning of an eyeball going there. Maybe I want to move that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I might want to move it a little bit higher. I don't know. I'll think about it. Move the angle a little, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure things out. So yeah, we are to the decoration phase. So a couple more heats on the eyeballs and the nostrils, and then I'm gonna see if I can't put like a little bit of a mouth in there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to open it so that it can open its mouth, but I might be able to denote where a mouth might be. I want to make sure that I allow this head to be really nice and hot so that it moves a lot faster and easier. So I'm going to do an extra half an hour of streaming today just so that we can get some nice decoration in. And yeah, so we'll keep on keeping on for about a half an hour, and then we'll raid off. We'll see who all is on. We are going to make a bottle opener on Friday. It might be an animal bottle opener, but it might just be a regular bottle opener. Because I just want something to turn in to my contest. All right, let's do another heat. I'm going to try and do these relatively fast so that we can get a lot of work done in a little bit of time. Oh no, are we stuck in here? Not forever. Yay! Okay. All right. Got a nice eye ridge going there. That's pretty exciting. So now we're going to, I think we're probably not going to get the nostril in yet. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to heat that back up again. So we've got an eye going there. And he's got a nice eye ridge, so that's really exciting. He's got a huge eye, so I don't know. I think I need a smaller punch, but I don't have one. So he's going to have ginormous bug eyes. Is there going to be a test to see if the bottle opener actually do open bottles or are not just decorative? I mean, I could. I have a bottle in my fridge. It is strawberry soda in a glass bottle. I don't drink a lot of beer, especially not in glass bottles. But we could definitely have a demo with the bottle opener. But yeah, I have made bottle openers in the past on the stream, and I bought glass bottles, and that's how old they are. I think it's been a year, so maybe I don't want to drink the bottle, or of soda, but I definitely have one to open. Alrighty. Are we hot enough? Probably. Okay. Let's do another heat. See what we got going. Oh, he's not quite hot enough yet. I'll do it anyway, though. Oops, this direction. It's going to take us a little bit of extra time. All right, there's that. We're going to do another heat just because it was being a little bit on the difficult side. You can kind of see that it started there. So we've got 2 eyeballs going. Go a little bit further in depth. Give him a little bit of an eye ridge. And then we'll work on some nostrils. And then we'll start working on some of the other decorations. My post device is starting to rotate. Need to fix that. Alrighty. So yeah, it seems to be working pretty well so far. So for our next heat, what we're going to do is we're going to put it on its side again so we can get that eyeball. Another heat we're going to do is we're going to turn it so that its nose is just popping up so that we can get the mouth and both nostrils at the same time, or at least I'm going to try to. Jesu Crafts, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. Hello, hello. I am decorating my lizard that I have made. And yeah, hey. It's taken me quite a long time to be happy with it, but I think I'm starting to get happy. Or to, you know, like it. Here it is. There's my flat chisel. All right. A little bit longer and we will do our next heat. Oh, lizard, yeah. So originally I was going to make it into a bottle opener, but I did not give myself enough material to make a long enough tail. Or I guess I did and I just didn't, I didn't draw it out long enough. So it's just going to be a little statuette for the moment. An izzard. An izzard lizard. All right, let's do another heat. Like I said, I'm really trying to like make sure that I get as many of these details in as possible on this guy. Oops, this direction is where I want to go. Raw. This one. There we go. We've got a little bit of an eye ridge there. You can kind of see on both sides, we now have an eye on that side and an eye on that side. Not too bad. Okay, so for our next heat, we're going to turn him this direction and put a mouth and nostrils in there. Although I don't think I have enough material for a mouth. He's kind of got a little bit of fish lipping going on. So I don't know, maybe we'll just do some nostrils for him. And then we'll start working on moving some of his legs a little bit and like his little tail. We might put a little bit of texturing on his back, but all that stuff will be done on the anvil. A little bit of movement in his tail and stuff. You should have borrowed that command from Kiri for the stream. Does Kiri have a lizard command? Maybe I do need a lizard command. I've got an ad break starting in about 1.5 minutes. That should give us plenty of time. Oh, okay, cool. That should give us plenty of time to soak in the heat so that we can get both nostrils in at the same time. But yeah, we have an ad break coming in. A fish lizard, a fishard, something like that. But I think he's doing all right. I think he's doing all right. I think I want to move his arms and legs in a little bit so that he's got like little elbows, and I kind of want to give him a little curve to his tail. If I can, his back legs, I have this nice curved chisel, and we can get some like front knees on that. So I don't know. I don't know how well that's going to work, but I'm going to try. Oh, this is empty too. All right. I guess I'm just going to have to not drink for the next like 15, 20 minutes or so while I'm finishing up the rest of this lizard. We'll be all right though. It's not too sweaty. Getting close to finishing him. I'm super excited. So, like I said, Friday stream, we're going to make a bottle opener, and hopefully we can put an animal on it too. But I don't know for sure. So we're going to start with the bottle opener and see what happens from there. I have a Instagram blacksmith challenge group. And the challenge this month is a bottle opener. So I really want to finish one. But if not, I guess it's not that big of a deal if I don't finish it. And we're in the middle of an ad break. So this will be our very last ad break for the day. I'm going to be finishing, or I hope I finish this piece before the next ad break starts. It should be good. I should be able to do it. Do I have any other smaller guys? I don't think I do. I think they're all just rounded. Okay. I guess I'll just have to use that one. I will have to use that one. Yep. Okay. So once this ad is over, I have plenty of heat to continue working. Continue. All right. So I think I'm going to start doing or moving towards this heat. Not that I'm going to start doing anything exciting until it's over, but I'm going to start trying or moving in that direction. All right. There's that. And I think we're good now. So I'm going to... Well, that was a thing. Ah! Okay. So he has some really tall nostrils right now. So I think that's all she wrote on that because I don't want to break them off. So let's see about putting in a mouth, or at least starting to put in a mouth. Okay. So there are his nostrils, and they kind of stick up above his nose a little bit. But I think that's all right. So we're going to heat him up again, and we're going to keep on keeping on with his mouth. And then from there, we're going to heat up his back end and kind of move the tail around a little. He's a little bit still kind of squared off, but I think that's all right. There we go. There we go. So one more heat at the bench or the post vise, and then we'll go and do the rest of our heats here on the face of the anvil. I'm going to be using some scrolling tongs and maybe some of these punches and chisels. This one I think I'm done with, though. Drunken Dwarf Iron, welcome in. Hello. I think it's been a while since we've seen you. But that's all right, because, you know, life happens. But welcome in. We're glad to see you. We are currently decorating a lizard that I'm trying to make. And it's working all right. Not the best thing in the world, but you know what? That's all right. I'm learning how to make animal sculptures out of steel. Definitely need another set of chisels and eyes and, you know, 4 eyes and nostrils and things like that. It's been a while. Life be lifin'. We do love a lizard. Excellent. I also love a lizard. I think they're absolutely adorable. I used to keep newts as pets. I wasn't very good at keeping them alive, though, unfortunately. These days, I think I could probably keep one alive a little bit longer than when I was a kid, though. But I also am much more apt to let them live in the wild than I was when I was a kid. All right. Let's finish this mouth. What I do with my tongs right there. Drop. I'm dropping all the things. All the things are dropping. Okay. This guy in here like so. Okay. That looks pretty good. So for our next few heats, we're going to try decorating, or like, not decorating. We're going to be moving his appendages around. So here he be so far, but I want to kind of curl his tail a little bit and move his little feet around. Kind of try and make him a little bit more lifelike. So I think I'm going to put him in backwards, so we can get that tail in there and nice and hot and stuff. I like his pudgy belly. He does have a pudgy belly. That's the first thing about him that I liked. He was a bit square for quite a while, so I took him over to the Horn of the Anvil and I started like really drawing out his belly and kind of widening him out. He's got uber big eyes, or super big eyes. Eyeballs. Well, you've done a good job of it. I'm glad to hear that. I have not been amazingly confident in this particular piece. Because, you know, I felt like I was pushing my luck with the scissors. And since we actually made those work, you know, I thought that for sure I was not going to be able to make the lizard work. So, I don't know. It seems like it's doing all right. All right. So, we are going to use the scroll tongs to move around his little tail. And I'm going to move the camera over here, I think. Maybe I'll move it down too. I don't know. Things and stuff. Constantly changing camera angles so that you guys can see things properly. But sometimes I feel like I do it too much. But it's never enough at the same time. Okay. You should always push a little further than your comfort zone. That's how you improve. Exactly. Exactly. It is my goal to continue to get better as I go. Every time I start a new project. Alright. I may not have let this get hot enough. It does not look like I did, so I'm going to heat this up again. A little bit further. Maybe I'll go this direction, if I can do it. Alright. Move these guys over here for the moment. That way I have a little bit more room to work. Oh, goodness. I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Starting to get a little bit tired, but you know what? That's about this. This is about the time that I normally get a little bit tired. So once we're done here, we will definitely raid off. If I may offer a tip, once you get into fiddly little bits like that, make sure it's always extra hot. They like to crack, and that's heartbreaking. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. When I pulled that out, it was not hot enough, so I definitely need to make sure that it is hot enough. Extra, extra hot. That's why I even started with the mailbox to begin with, is because the mailbox does a really good job of keeping things nice and hot. The thinner things get, the easier it is to crack them. Do I got enough heat? I think I do this time. All right, let's try this again. If I can get this out, that would be great. All right, so we're going to do another heat. I want to bring this a little bit further down. Whoopsie, as I drop him. And I want to bring his tip, the tip of his tail, a little bit further that way. But we're starting to get there. I think he looks very nice. If I can get him in the forge. That's always the issue, right? Getting him in the forge. Or that's been my issue all day. It's making sure that I get it in the forge. Can I get him down a little? There we go. That's better. Okay. Jack, do you forge? I don't see you online other than mini painting. So, getting real close. Getting real close. Couple more heats and we should have this done. Do I have a good heat on the tail, the tip? I hope so. We're gonna wait just a little bit, let it marinate just a little bit longer. You know what? I don't have a drink. I ran out of a beverage. Okay, let's do another heat. That'll work, I think, for the moment. Then I'm going to heat that back up. We're going to address the legs a little bit, I think, maybe. We're getting there. There's always the quench jar. You're right. There's always the quench jar. I forgot about that. I don't know why I always forget about my quench jar, but it's a very convenient thing to use. Although I did find that when we dropped the lizard in there to begin with, we've cracked it somewhere. It's leaking, but I don't know where the leak is. Yeah, I don't know where the leak is. Mine almost has a tea-colored, or is almost tea-colored now. Yeah, mine is too. This used to be a peanut butter jar. It was supposed to be clear, and now it's got like a whole bunch of, you know, like rust in the bottom. Rust in the bottom. Alrighty. Couple more heats. Couple more heats. Let's do another one. Yeah, I was pretty sure that you do some forging still, Jack. Alright. I don't think I have this quite hot enough. So we will put this back in. Apologies, I took it out too early. Too early. I need to shove that in there as far as possible so it will heat up faster. That being said, I did a forging stream earlier today. Ooh, I didn't see it. I was not watching Twitch until probably noon-ish today, though. I started watching Twitch when I got my lunch ready. And so I saw a lot of people, but I don't think I saw Jack. Okay, we've got some real nice heat going, so that's good. Let's do another one. Hopefully I'll be able to hang on to him, though. There. That'll work. All right. I'm going to move the camera one more time. We're going to go over to the horn and maybe see if I can't put a curve into his back legs. I don't know that that's actually going to happen, though. I don't know. I think he's actually pretty decent. You know, not too bad. So let's do that last heat, see if I can't do that, and then we'll be done. I probably won't be able to do it, to be quite honest, but I'm going to try. I may just be a victim of time zones then, and you usually stream when I'm working. Time zones suck. There's never enough time to watch everything that you want. All right, this will just be our last couple of heats. We're going to do them on the horn of the anvil, see if I can't put in a couple last bits of stuff. I may play around with this a little bit more this weekend. If I do, I'll try and record it and stick it in the video for this guy. Oh, all right. I think this is gonna, like I said, this is gonna be my last heat, I think, because I do need to do some stuff before the butler gets home. And I also don't have any water, and I feel the need to drink water. My throat's starting to get scratchy from talking. All right. So if any of you guys have any suggestions for who to rate, please do let me know. This will be our very last heat for the day. And I will be back again on Friday. And we will be working on a bottle opener. So we've kind of moved the legs out a little bit. You can kind of see them that direction. So I think we're done for the moment with these guys, or with this guy. So kind of exciting. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Curie is still online today with some gem setting. Okay. We will definitely, we can definitely raid Curie. Curie raided us just Monday, so turnabout is fair play, right? Thank you and have a nice day. You too. Oh, ooh. That's nice. Bye, Jack. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you Friday. Bye.